started Space in July 2010, initially to provide a respite or a holiday provision for young people with autism and associated difficulties, and this was something that was identified by both parents and carers and professionals as something that was very, very needed in the city. This project was funded by the Aiming High for Children, Disabled Children's team, and that project remains to be very successful. The lean into what we do now is that project we identify as a transition service, so a way that we can meet young people from an early age and help them to be part of something exciting, something creative, and then for them to move on into our adult service, and all the time us to use our knowledge of transition and the ethos and methods that we carry through and have done in our professional lives through into our adult service, thus providing consistency for the people that we work with.
We believe in a person-centred service that provides opportunities for people to enrich their lives. We started Space Inclusive because we've got experience of working in special schools. We've been working in special schools for a fair amount of time, and we've seen leavers from those schools kind of go on and not really fulfil their potential, I think.
I think year after year we've identified that there's got to be something out there, something that can provide an alternative to your standard placements, but would be that college or be that a traditional day centre model, and with a creative undertone to the kind of activities we envisage we would do, then that's where our service started.
I think also, you know, places like colleges and day centres sometimes don't really look at that individual. They'll look at trying to fit that person into the provision that exists there already. And I think we're very different from that. We're about being person-centred, looking at where that person's coming from, where they want to go, how their families and their wider lives fit into that, and designing a service around them.
I think we can all think of examples where the young people that we've worked with have been suited to a service in one particular element, but other elements just don't work, and there's no obvious way for them to get around that, i.e. if they can access courses, college courses academically, but the other stuff that enables them to be part of their day, the things like them accessing the lunchtime opportunities, or it's just
even getting there sometimes can be very, very difficult, can't it? Okay. Using public transport and trying to get there in the mornings. I mean, we had a conversation probably just about a year ago, really, coming back from a residential that we'd been on at school, and it had been a fantastic week, and the young people on that trip had really achieved and really enjoyed that week, and had access to experiences that they would never normally get, and that's when the idea started to crystallise a little bit. And we thought, well, maybe what if we could do that, if we could provide more of a wraparound service and look at all areas of a young person's life.
Both our backgrounds are creative, and we feel we can use this to help to improve the young people's self-confidence and self-esteem.
Who do you expect to use Space Inclusive?
We've had a range of people refer to us already, and at one end of the scale we've got a young man who is 22 years of age, as a good example, who is really perhaps lacking in his self-confidence and self-esteem. He's attended a mainstream school throughout his school career, had a very, very negative experience there, has held down a part-time voluntary job previously, is very creative in terms of visual arts and quite talented contextually, really. And for him, he needs a boost to his confidence. He needs to know that he's got good skills and that he can use them. He needs help in developing those skills, and he would like to work towards some kind of paid employment.
I think on the other hand, another young man that we support, and he has had no intervention from any other service, and the services have tried to engage with him, but it does mean just breaking out the mould quite a lot, and those services would traditionally invite people to come to them, and he has a high level of autism and can't access all that new all the new scenarios at once. It has to be broken down, it has to be structured in a way where people have to work creatively around him, and our service enables us to be able to do that. We've got him a small amount of transition time where we go and spend time with him, and it's in the comfort of his own surroundings, so not necessarily his own home, but in places that he knows well, and places that he can start to build relationships with us, and then we can use that as a basis to integrate him into our service.
I think we're always wary of saying that we can do everything, but we would always at least try and have a conversation and meet people to see if there are ways in which we can work together and help move that young person forwards.
Through accessing local facilities such as community leisure centres, we are promoting active and healthy lifestyles.
We believe that adults with learning disabilities have the skills to access purposeful and meaningful employment opportunities.
The launch of Space Inclusive is quite timely in that the launch of personal budgets was in October 2010. We felt this was a great platform for people to go out and exercise their right to have a choice and to choose a provider in a service that was more suited to their needs, and in fact a service that was person-centred and that could offer many different services to both them and their families. We believe we fit that criteria.
What issues have you had when setting up Space Inclusive?
I think we identified issues at the start in terms of there's not an awful lot about a new sector, and especially as we started to progress into the workings of how we would set up, looking at the way that personal budgets operated, and a lot of the professionals that we're working around and that we've been working around from the start are all just getting to grips with how personal budgets work. It's such a new scheme and such a new idea, a new concept that there aren't experienced professionals in this field. People are still trying to find the way. Us all saying that, we've had a great deal of help from people like Rebecca Stanley and Tracy Turner, who are the micro provider coordinators for both the county and the city respectively.